And gentlemen, welcome back to TLT Talks. It's the first one of the new year, and we have a very, very special guest for you today. I feel like everyone starts with this new year, new me thing, and we're going to be joined today by one of my favorite people on the planet. Here we go. Let's get 3, 2, 1, pow. Almost. There we go. Mr. Gregg Sugerman, how goes it, sir?
It goes. Thank you very much. Love being here. I do have a little bit of a bone to pick with you here because I consider you a good friend, right? Great friend, a mentor from an entrepreneurial standpoint and a human being standpoint, someone I look up to very much, which is why I don't understand why you're doing this to me.
What exactly are we doing?
Okay. So last month you had Robert Refkin on this show.
Right.
And I have to follow him. So this is like I'm a guitar player and you just had Eddie Van Halen on stage. And now you're like, go ahead, Greg, man. The stage is yours. So thank you for that. I appreciate that.
I'm like, oh my God, what did I do that I'm going to get publicly outed? Well, you know what, sir? You are every bit a human being, as is the wonderful Mr. Refkin. Well, let me just welcome you, Gregg Sugerman, to the show. For those that may not know, Gregg Sugerman is one of the original coaches in the Compass Marketplace. He's the exclusive mindset coach for the Litvak team, and truthfully, genuinely one of the nicest, just genuine humans that I know. Gregg, I love our relationship. I love you. I could talk for hours about you. But for those that may not know you, give the world a little bit about yourself.
Oh, if you could talk hours about me, go ahead. I was going to say, like, please continue.
Obviously, I left out a great sense of humor. Obviously, I
I am a performance coach for real estate agents and team principals. So what does that mean? It means basically I help my clients get crystal clear on what it is that they want. Then we map out a plan to get there. And from there, the ruthless accountability begins, right? It's accountability, it's strategy, it's support. I obsess over my clients' goals, and my approach, very holistic, right? I believe in coaching the human being and not just the agent, because you can't really separate those two things. I guess at the end of the day, what I do, what lights me up the most is that I believe in my clients, and I believe in their goals, and I believe in their dreams so powerfully that it almost becomes they get to the point where they know achieving those goals is inevitable, and watching that whole process unfurl to me is just magic.
Oh God,
so that's what I
love
do.
it. I love it. And I can speak as a client of Gregg's. He coaches exclusively all of my agents. I can say to you that everything he's just said is completely real. Like, I mean, he lights up, we talk. I mean, it's true. You know, not all heroes wear capes, sir. And what you do, you help people's lives. I mean, that's, isn't that what superheroes do? They save lives, they help people. So Sugerman, I truly cherish our relationship. Gregg and I met many years ago, and what started as a mere conversation is now going on 4, 5, 6 years, whatever, of working together and being mates. And there's not that many people that I love more than you, man.
I appreciate it. I love you too.
Well, let's kind of give our people some content. So I started off by saying, that we're it's almost end of Jan. Everyone starts with this, there's always this New Year's resolution, this new year, new me mantra, and come couple weeks into January, people start, not because they don't want the things they want, but, people fall into their original patterns. And, you and I are both students of many years of Tony Robbins, and we understand how powerful mind is and patterns are, and, being sucked in and all that stuff. And so what a great opportunity to talk about how, for anyone that starts the year strong and then sort of dips, what are the most important practices, or what's the most important thing to do to make sure that's an annual continuance, right?
Great question. I'm going to say a phrase here that I'm sure you've never heard. Goal setting. Set goals.
No, stop it.
So important. So important.
What is this goal thing? Yeah, guys, I mean, look, honestly, the primary thing, you know, it's funny. Uh, um, One of the hardest questions to answer is what do you want, right? In everything you do, like what do you want? Because most people, you know, like, if we're talking real estate agents, what do you want? I want to do more sales. Okay, great. So make sure you do one more sale. Are we good?
Right.
You know, like, well, I want to make more money. Great. Let's say you make $1 more. You know, like, so this what do you want thing for anybody that's watched the notebook, what do you want? You know, what do you want? So goals is the answer to that. Goals allows you to set something that you want. And then if you develop a skill around it, you reverse engineer it into the things that need to happen in order to get there. But Greg, question for you, as someone that's an expert in helping people to set goals and achieve their goals, what are some of the most important things to keep in mind when goal setting?
Yeah, it's you touched on it. It's the specificity. Thank you.
That's a tough word.
Peace.
That's a tough
Oof.
word.
Um, and whenever anyone asks me about goal setting and specifics, the story that comes to mind is from Alice in Wonderland, and it's the Cheshire Cat. And
Ha ha ha
Alice
ha.
asks, "Would you tell me, please, which way to go from here?" And the cat says, "That depends a good deal on where you want to go."
Mm,
Alice answers, "I don't care much where I go." And the cat says, "Well, then it doesn't." Oh, sorry. She says, "I don't care where." And he says, "Well, it doesn't matter which
mm,
way you go. If you have
mm.
no plan, where are you going?
That's
You're
right.
just kind of floating." It is very easy to wake up in your life. Let's make it even smaller. To wake up in your day and you picture the outside world as like a rushing river. And it's very easy to just jump in that river and it's going to take you wherever it wants to take you. And life will do that. It will take you wherever it takes you. Unless instead of jumping in that river, you have a plan. Here's where I want to go. Here's how I'm going to try to get there. And you are intentional with it. I think it's super, super important. And if you are, especially, I should say, if you're a real estate agent where you can wake up in the morning and just react to your clients, to your team lead, to anyone around you. You just put out fires all day. And before you know it, a week goes by, a month goes by, a quarter goes by, a year goes by, and you are just kind of wherever the world is taking you because you were not intentional. You did not set targets.
Mhm.
So specificity for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, so important, so important. Not only because every day that you start your day, not you want to know exactly what you want to be doing. You want to know that those stepping stones are leading you to there, but also like for all of my folks out there that believe in energy, that believe in manifesting, that believe in all these things, like visualization. You know, if you can see it, you can make it happen. You know, there's this concept of the three principles of leadership or of an entrepreneur rather. And those are one, you see it as it is, not better than worse. You just see it practically as it is. Two is you see it as you want it to be. That's your goal, that's your KPI, that's your whatever. And then your job is to close the gap over a week, a month, a year, a decade, you know, whatever it is. Your job now is to close that gap. And so the most important thing is so it's just to have that sense of clarity, that sense of this is exactly what I'm going after. It's also, you know, it embarks on this other scary word, procrastination. You know, most people misdiagnose procrastination. Most people think procrastination is because, you know, the person's lazy or they don't want bad enough, whatever. When in fact, procrastination is usually either complexity or some lack of clarity, because that same person is procrastinating. If you take what they need to do and you sit with them and you say, okay, cool. What you need to do is one, two, three, four, five,
Mhm.
six, and it's clearly laid out. I mean, some people will still procrastinate. Some are just some are what they are.
Can I do three before
Yeah,
two? Can I do six
yeah,
first? Can I do?
yeah. But for the most part, procrastination usually comes because what needs to get done is not clear. It's not easy. It's not simple. And so the what to do is what gets people stuck.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. Okay, let me ask you this. So okay, we've set some goals. We're clear on them. Life happens. How do we get to those goals? How do we crush goals? Anything to sort of chat through there?
How do we crush the goals? Sure. So, okay, four things, right? First, I would say set yourself up for success. And this is not my thought here. I got this from an entrepreneur, a coach named Todd Herman, and it's so true. I found it completely true in my world. Clients come to me oftentimes, they think they have a mindset problem, and that's great because I'm like a mindset obsessed coach. However, oftentimes they don't have a mindset problem. They actually have an environment problem. Their environment is not set up to help them succeed. So I would say the first thing is to take time Make sure that your environment supports your goals, whether that's your home office, whether that's your other office space, whether that's the people around you. So make sure that that's in alignment with what it is that you're trying to do. 2, I would say keep your goals front and center, right? You get what you focus on. So put them somewhere where you can see them, print them out. You mentioned visualization, think about them, obsess over them. Don't want things, right? To quote David Lee Roth and the mighty Van Halen, everybody wants some. Wanting is easy, but wanting is not enough. Don't want, intend to achieve. Know that you're going to achieve. That's really important. And like I said, obsess over your goals. And beware, you just touched on this before, beware the tyranny of the how. You are not going to have all the answers all the time. So work with what you have from where you are, set that goal. It's something that you want. It's something that you desire. It's okay if you don't have all the answers right now. Keep going. A lot of times those answers will be laid out while you're on the path. So it's okay if you don't know exactly how, because what happens a lot of times, or I don't know, maybe all the time, you're going to set a goal. You're trying to achieve something you want to be, do, or have X or Y or Z. And that voice is going to get in your head at some point. How? We're here. You want to go there. How can we do this? What if this happens? What if that happens? How? Tyranny of the how. You're not going to know all those answers right away. And that's totally okay. That should not stop you from achieving.
So spot on. So spot on, man. And time, like time and patience. So there's this concept that I learned from my business coach, Keith Cunningham. There's vertical time and there's horizontal time, right? So vertical time is basically minutes, minutes, hours, days. It's the stuff you want to smash quick, right? Horizontal time are the things that take time. That could be weeks, months, years, decades, depending on what it is. So one of the things that people make a mistake about with their health and vitality, like weight loss is a good example. People put weight loss on a vertical time, think, I want to lose all this weight so fast. I'm guilty of that too in the past. Whereas instead, let's just do 2 pounds a week for 3, 4, 5 months, whatever it is. Let's rebuild patterns and habits, right? And the same when it comes to goal setting, because people put things on a vertical axis, right? And this culture we've developed of immediate gratification, it's like people just give up so quick. They want it too fast. It's not realistic, or they're on their way and success is imminent, but they just quit a little bit too soon. Actually, there's one. So Gregg was gracious enough. We do a goal setting seminar every single year with our team, where as a company we set goals and each individual set goals and we reverse engineer them, and everyone knows exactly what they need to do going into the new year, not just for the year, but broken down for the month and the quarter to be. And Gregg was gracious enough to join us and do some mindset exercises for us in person, including a story about the GOAT. Somebody actually got to meet in person at Tony's house, Mr. Tom Brady. You shared that story. I would love it if you could share that story with our viewers.
Yeah, and it really speaks to the power of mindset, doesn't it? So
for sure.
I forget the number of the Super Bowl, but Tom Brady it was the Patriots and the Falcons in the Super Bowl. They were down 21-3 at the half, 28-3 in the third quarter. And for most people, I think like 110 million people were watching that Super Bowl. Most people, what are you thinking? You're like, this is embarrassing. This is humiliation. We're like on the biggest stage in the world. This is awful. Not Tom Brady. And here's a little peek into what makes a guy like Tom Brady. He said, we were down 28-3 against Atlanta in Super Bowl 51. And you look at that situation and basically say like, that's it. Or you can say, when we come back from this, we are going to be the heroes. This is going to be the defining moment in our career.
Oh man, I love that story. So Gregg shared that story with the team, and I went and I said, ooh, there's something there. There's a word that I just pulled out of there that makes the entire difference. This one word is what makes Tom Brady and other folks like him, like them. And that was the word. Anybody catch it? For anyone that just heard that little thing, I'm just curious if anybody caught it. I'll pause for a second.
Should we say it again?
Yeah, you know what? Read it one more time.
When we come back from this, we are going to be the heroes. This is going to be the defining moment in our careers. And this is funny, before you give the answer. So at this goal setting seminar, I read this quote and Eugene just about stood on the table. He was like, did you hear that? Did you hear the word? What's the word? It was great.
What's so good? And the word was when. Tom Brady. We just sat here and talked about goals, visualization, clarity, desire, gotta believe, all that stuff. Tom Brady didn't go into the locker room, and most would say 28-3 football is basically insurmountable, you know, in a quarter in the Super Bowl, all the momentum's with the other team. And this guy gets up and he doesn't say if. He doesn't say if we come back. It was crystal clear to him.
Yep.
This guy got up there with total confidence, says, when we do this, it'll be epic. And he did so enough to inspire the entirety of his team. And ultimately, they won the Super Bowl, and it goes on to be an epic story. So that's a really important part. That's a really important part of the goal-setting process is you can't be an if. Whatever your goals are, it can't be if I achieve this thing, if we get to this. It's got to be whatever the goal is, whether it's personal or business, that's the goal. And your whole vibe, mantra, mentality around it is when, not if. Anything that's if, don't even bother. Waste of time. Yep. It's either you got a when energy or don't waste your time with the ifs, right? I love that story. And that, by the way, that was totally organic. That was unplanned because I didn't know Gregg's entire agenda, but it shares that story. I hear that one word and I lost my mind. I was like, oh my God, stop everything. Stop everything. Everybody looked at me like I was crazy.
I did too. I was like, what happened? What did I do wrong? What's going on? What's happening? You're like, no. What the word?
All right, Gregg. So we got goals. We've got some tips on, you know, how to set those goals. We know what we got to do to crush those goals. And as we navigate the year, again, life happens, things happen, momentum, energy shifts. What's a good process to check in, you know, or pivot, or what's the sustainability model here?
I think it's really important to slow down at times, like slow down to speed up, right? Like you taught me this, the concept of CEO time. Slow down, take a 30,000 foot look at your business. Unplug, just sit there. I know most people don't know what this is anymore. Pen, pad, just sit there, write about your business, think about it, take a look at it from an unplugged kind of perspective. Really important, super important, and especially for achievers, this is really difficult. Allow yourself to feel good about whatever progress you're making. It doesn't matter if it's an inch or a foot or a mile, like feel good about it. Progress is progress. And you mentioned vertical time and horizontal time. Sometimes your progress is going to feel like you're just kind of crawling. And then sometimes you achieve 5 years in 1 week. So just feel good about your progress. And the flip side of that is don't beat yourself up when you're off track. It happens. Beating yourself up is not going to help you at all. And realize that when something like that happens, and when, because this is when energy too, when there's a setback, because that's life, you are not a failure. You have just not yet succeeded in what it is that you're trying to do. So get curious about it, become a mechanic, open up the hood, take a look at what's going on. Maybe you have a strategy in play that's not quite working, change your strategy, but separate those two things. You are not a failure. You just haven't achieved what you're looking to achieve yet. So super important to just never beat yourself up.
So important. And it's like if you're like me or like most, you know, entrepreneurs, you've got the overachiever's curse, right? Like you'll have reached a revenue target that you've never reached before and you'll be like, okay, cool, what's next? Or you'll acquire, you know, a nice thing, a house, a car, or whatever. You're like, oh great, what's next? Or you do something you've never, and it's constantly what's next without any real pause for celebration or feel good. And the truth is people do those things that make them feel great. And we just don't stop to feel great. And also Keith Cunningham, this process of CO time, Keith calls it thinking time, right? Just literally how often are we just taking a step back and just thinking, and you don't want to just sit there and think random thoughts, right? But the key to a good thinking time sessions, and those can be fast, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, they don't need to be hours and hours. The key to a good thinking time session is a really powerful question. So if you might be stuck anywhere, anything you're trying to sort out, if there's a problem, there's a constraint, whatever it is, you just write a really powerful question. You shut down all electronics, because the truth is you have the answer. You already know the answer. You're just distracted by all the stuff, or by fear, or by the tyranny of how. But if all of a sudden you just shut out the world, everyone's got their process. Mine is a tequila and a cigar. That's my process. You just shut out the world. If you're me, you shut out the world. You pour yourself a tequila on the rocks with an orange slice. You light a Padron. You just think on your question. You just shut out you're looking at water if you're me, because I love water. You just shut out the world. You just sit with this question. And and you just play it out in your mind. You just get to be the creator of what comes next. And it's amazing when you do that, how quickly and how effectively the answers just come rushing through you. You know,
So
we're just not used to that.
powerful.
We're just not used to that anymore, you know? And the second part of that, I would say, or a final thought is, you know, I forget the exact line, but they say that, you know, goals not written down are just far-fetched dreams or something like that. There's an author by the name of James Clear. I believe him to be the authority on habit building, and he's got a weekly thing he sends out. This one in particular, I quote all the time. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. I'm going to repeat that.
So
You
good.
do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Dreams and goals and KPIs and OKRs and all that stuff's amazing. And how are you going to get there? There's no chance that anyone on planet Earth can remember everything they need to do at all times with all the stuff coming in and all the plans and all the stuff. So, you know, the truth is when we recruit for our team, when I interview most agents, you know, and I ask them what's most valuable to them, a lot of times the conversation ends up being, you know, leads and split. And in fact, I know that's the very last thing they need. Because if you give someone that's got poor process, poor system, leads and split, they're just not going to convert.
Yeah.
The agents that are really successful, that are plateaued because they just haven't been able to build something, it's ironic. Those agents, the top tier agents that look to join a team, they're less concerned with splits and leads and more concerned with structure and systems and how do I organize everything? How do I create smoother operations so that I can do more? So it's really interesting to see all that. But I would say to you, for anyone that's out there looking to dream, man, for anyone that knows me, you know I'm a dreamer. I'm not sitting here saying be practical. I'm saying dream big.
Dream big.
Robert Refkin obviously thinks the same. That's the number one principle of Compass. But dream big intelligently. Dream big and then design a plan of how to get there. Don't dream big. It's like, you remember that movie or that book, The Secret? And then people be like, oh, so I'm just going to sit on my couch and see $1 million? Like, no, that's not. Let's have an intelligent car. It's like all the conversations I've had post my Tony Robbins work. You'd be like, what'd you get most out of it? Well, I truly believe I can do anything. Oh, so you can jump out of an airplane with no parachute? Thank you for the chat. I really enjoyed it. You know, we're no longer having an intelligent conversation. Right. I'm good. Thank you very much. But essentially, dream big, go nuts. Just have some, you know, reverse engineered plan and some operation, some system, some way to keep going with that. Greggy, I could literally talk to you all day long. Mindset and all the entrepreneurship. It is such a passion for both of us. But I promise you I'd get you out on time. Any final tips? Oh my God, I don't believe I asked you about your fun fact.
Oh.
I think see, I have my thing. I didn't follow it. See,
good.
Naughty Eugene didn't follow process. Yeah.
Where are your systems? You're not in your optics and your triggers.
Sugarman, what do we got?
So, well, it's okay. Fact. We can try with the end with the fun fact instead of starting with it. Who knows? Maybe this is the new format. So, all right.
See, pivot.
This can be your like a choose your own adventure. I can give you like my normal kind of boring answer to that question, which is always like, I'm a huge Star Wars nerd, or I can say something that's going to completely put me on the spot and embarrass myself. Which one do you want?
You already know what I'm going to pick. So,
okay. I am just a massive fan of so many of these Bravo shows, right? Like Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, New Jersey, used to be New York, Vanderpump Rules. Me and Lauren watch these things religiously. I don't know why. I wish I understood it, but I love it so much. We talk about it like I'm analyzing like a game plan from a football game. I'm like, why did she do this? What do you think she was thinking? This is terrible. So yeah, there's my fun and embarrassing fact.
Well, I can assure you that you're not alone, because what are their ratings? Like millions of viewers all the time. Oh, we got Joy on. She's laughing at you a little bit. Good, good. Well, he said it was about, you know, so we're no judgment here, baby. Judgment-free zone. Judgment-free zone. You know what? I'll share a fun fact. This is a new one.
Yes.
This is a 24-hour fun fact. You guys might see this thing on my eye. I wish I had a great story for you. I wish it was like I saved a person from being mugged, or like I got into a fight and you should see the other guy. But actually, I was just playing basketball. someone came down with an elbow, and in the entirety of my life, I've never been hit like this. Immediate blood everywhere, yada, yada. There's a cut. I think it's going to turn into a scar. Good, right? Scars create character, I think they say.
Oh, yeah. That's a good thing.
Greggy, by the way, I don't know if this is good or bad, right? It's all the power of meaning. So I got hit. It took forever to like clear it and had to stop bleeding, whatever. And I got back in the court and I won 2 more games. Now, I go, yeah, Mamba mentality, let's go. When I get home, my wife goes, idiot, you should have came home right away. We could have stitched it faster. We could have put ice on it. So I guess it depends how you
also, yeah, you thought you were great after that, but nobody wanted to get anywhere near you, so you
maybe that's why I won the
them.
games, you see?
You're like, no one can guard me. They're like, yeah, I'm not going to touch this guy.
You turn a challenge into an opportunity. Boom. Boom. The $1 million question is, did the ref call the foul? Actually, the guy was like so apologetic. He was like so nice. It's just an accident. All right. Last thing. Any final tips, final thoughts on any of the things we discussed today? Anything you want to leave the viewers with?
Don't follow Robert Refkin on TLTTalks. Wait until you have like a mortgage guy on next month, and then I'll come.
Do you know what's
on.
funny? It was also the first live TLT Talks we did because we were together in a room.
Yeah.
It's the first like in-person one we've done in I don't even know how long. That's funny.
Wait, and I'm not just saying this. It was so good.
Yeah, it was great.
It was so good. I watched that
great.
like I was like a proud parent. I was like, look at my guy. This is great. It was great. It was a great interview.
Yeah. Well, he's the epitome of dream big and attach a plan to it. And like, look, Robert Refkin, he wasn't a real estate guy. Do you know, like this guy, like, which was great because he didn't have all of the bad patterns or the negative stories or the limiting stories, I should say, of real estate. Here's a guy that comes along and just says, let's do it a little bit different. And while everyone in the industry is like, oh, that'll never work, that didn't stop him.
Right.
He had a dream. He had a strong why. He had clarity. He had a plan. Compass pivoted. You know, you don't hear about urban Compass anymore, but so did Amazon, so did Apple, so did JP Morgan, all the giants, all the greats. What works, what doesn't work, you pivot unapologetically. I even respect so much that, like, listen, when times are tough, the job of the CEO is to make sure the company stays alive. And like, you know, when the rates went up last year and when all the markets slowed, I would not want to be in that man's shoes when you got to look at a P&L and say, well, we have to do something, and you've got to be the one to make the call of who's got to go. Like, my God, like what, like people look at being a CEO like it's all sexy all the time. You get to run a company, make decisions, all this stuff. But shit, man, like I know Robert personally. This is a guy who wears his heart on his sleeve, and to have to let many people know it's not you, it's us. We just can't. We just need, you know.
Yeah.
It's not. That's. I mean, I've been in that position, not with the same scale, but I've been in that position before. And like you know, like you gotta be so clear on the ultimate goal that you're prepared to do whatever it takes.
That's what I was thinking. Like that's another thing that speaks to the power of a goal, a vision. Here's where this is and where we are right now. Like you said, as an entrepreneur, see it for how it is. This is no longer aligned with that goal. We're off track here, and it's the ability to say like, okay, and I'm not making light of anyone ever losing their jobs ever. So I'm not saying that at all. But exactly right. That's specifically this is the goal. I'm so clear on what it is that I'm going after. I'm no longer going to be able to get it if this present situation holds. So that's and if specifics.
Yeah, man. And if we don't make these tough decisions, the whole company goes down. Then what?
Right.
You know, like so. Anyways, just props to Rob. I think he's done such a phenomenal job with Compass. And so I guess my close would be for anyone that doesn't want to set goals. There's all the complicated sort of industry jargon of KPIs, OKRs. Don't even worry about that. It's just really simple. You set a goal. A goal might be, I want to lose 20 pounds. And you reverse engineer that goal. And I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to do yoga. I'm going to eat 2,000 calories a day, whatever it is. And then you just, some kind of measurement tool. Man, it could be a whiteboard. It could be a spreadsheet, whatever it is. Set the goal. What are the steps to get to the goal? And then regular measure of the goal and the things to do to get to the goal. Start real small. Once you do this, man, you get hooked. It's like a superpower. It's manifest destiny because then you get to design whatever you want. And then there's a compounding effect that happens. Really powerful.
Can I just add one quick thing to that? And this is what happens with our conversations. We could just talk about this stuff forever. Words mean different things to different people, right? So for example, the word gratitude, I never could connect with that word. To me, it's something else. Thankfulness, I land. It's your word, right? But it's about the word and what it means to you. So for some people listening to this, maybe the word goals or goal setting, maybe you roll your eyes. Maybe you're like, oh, goals, everyone's talking about goals. That's okay. So for you, maybe it's purpose or maybe it's direction. The word doesn't matter is my point. Find a word that works for you, whatever you attach to. It's the thought and the processes and the mindset behind the words that matter.
Yeah, spot on. What a good gem to close off. Well, Sugerman, love you, dog. Thank you so much for taking some time with us this afternoon or morning, whichever it is. Thank you,
afternoon. It's always a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on.
As of 2 minutes ago. Yeah,
I charge extra for that. Now it's an afternoon call. It's gonna cost you. But thank you. Love you. I love being on. I appreciate the opportunity. Love talking to all of you out there. And have an awesome day.
Oh, Greg, if somebody wants to find you, how do they find you?
Well, you can find me on Instagram at Gregg Sugerman. That's GreggSugerman. That's the best place to find me. Message me there, or you can email me, greg@greggsugerman.com. Again, it's just to make things difficult, GREGG at GREGGSUGERMAN. There's my 2 cents.
Or just DM me and I'll put you guys in touch.
That's a lot easier.
Either which way.
You're Greg, always making things more efficient. See, it's always more efficiency with you.
Yeah, have a great day and a great weekend, my friend.
You too.
All right, bye-bye.